Sect by playing badly. I saved the whole sect by playing badly. Chapter 11. I'm in the Changming sect, and I've been tortured crazy by my junior sister. After robbing Danfeng, Yi Qiao returned home with a full load, which was a pain for the peak owner of Danfeng. He watched this little girl jump up and down together with her 3 senior brothers, and almost took away 10 of those expensive pills. 1/3. The key point is that this kid is still a plucking goose, and he even snatched away a lot of spiritual plants from his medicine field when he passed by. Master Danfeng bled from distress, wishing he could kick these 2 relatives out with one kick. Fortunately, I finally held back. He tried his best to brainwash himself, his own family, the hope of the future Changmingzong, can't be kicked, can't be kicked. Zhu Yu accompanied her until the evening, and even sent the little junior sister to her yard. For some reason, as soon as she stepped into the little junior sister's yard, she always felt that the aura was too strong. Zhu Yu looked at the surrounding decorations, because it wasn't a talisman repair, and he didn't know exactly why this happened. Respecting his senior brother's duty, he reminded, junior sister's aura is stronger here than other places. If you have to say it, it is not much worse than the aura in the forbidden area. Zhu Yu can only attribute it to the fact that the junior sister was lucky enough to be assigned to a courtyard with a strong spiritual energy. He tried to persuade him, this kind of residence at the right time and place, the junior sister should practice more diligently, and there is only one place left for the Zongmen Grand Competition. More than the second half of the year. Yi Qiao nodded thoughtfully. You are right. Zhu Yu was relieved, and within 3 seconds, he saw his dear junior sister said with a serious face, but the great philosopher said, you have to go to bed on time at 10 o'clock, otherwise it will be bad for your health. Then she lay peacefully on the bed, folded her hands, good night, 3rd senior brother. 3 question marks appeared above Zhu Yu's head, who is the philosopher? Wait, are you asleep now? For a while, looking at Yi Qiao, whose eyes were closed, peacefully as if dead, he gritted his teeth and smiled. Good night, junior sister. In the early morning of the next day, when Yi Qiao was going to the cafeteria to eat, he happened to meet some of Danfeng's juniors on the way. The 2 sat opposite her, chatting casually. I just practiced 2 pills, why don't we go down the mountain and sell them secretly? The other junior readily agreed. Okay, 2 of them should earn you 200 middle grade spirit stones, and then you don't have to eat steamed buns anymore. Regardless of whether it is the canteen of the outer door or the inner door of Changmingzong, there are always steamed buns. Yi Qiao's mind moved slightly. Does Danshu make money like this? The Changming sect rules prohibit disciples from reselling talismans and elixir in private, but there are loopholes in everything, no one will stare at you every day, and the elders will turn a blind eye. When Yi Qiao thought about the results of her search yesterday, it's no wonder that the master of Danfeng felt so distressed. The 2 inner sect disciples didn't know themselves, and when they saw a black sword pinned to her waist, they thought she was some inner sect's sword cultivator. Yes, theoretically speaking, you sword cultivators are the only ones who are poor. Our Danshu can sell a bottle of middle-grade willing pill for 300 high-grade spirit stones. The man said with some embarrassment, but our cultivation level is low now, and we can't practice the spirit pill. It seems that only senior brother Zhu can practice it in our sect. Yi Qiao, the poor swordsman, was stabbed silently in the heart. But now she is not the same as she was at the beginning, she also has a lot of pills now, and she has searched for a lot of high-grade elixir alone. It's just that Danfeng's pills must not be sold, after all, they're rare things. Even if you want to sell it, you have to sell yourself to refine it. The ancient pill that Yi Qiao memorized yesterday, she had a whim and was going to try it. However, the orthodox alchemy practice seems to use the alchemy furnace, so Yi Qiao asked the 2 alchemists about the price of the next alchemy furnace. After learning that a slightly better alchemy furnace would cost top-grade spirit stones, she had the expression of a subway grandfather looking at his phone. Excuse me. After Yi Qiao ate, she decided to support herself. She went to the aunt in the cafeteria and asked for a big iron pot. Anyway, what can't be used to practice? A cauldron is also a pot. There can be no species discrimination in life. It's not because she is poor. Ellipsis. Back in the yard, she prepared the cauldron, and eagerly drew a fire talisman. Danshu is a fire spirit root with its own spirit fire, but the original owner is a thunder spirit root, which is quite rare in the cultivation world. For the time being, no one has figured out the specific use of the thunder root, so it is classified as a waste spirit root. Yi Qiao is a half-hearted monk, so naturally she didn't figure it out. Her mind is now full of how to make money. As the flame rose, she threw Lingji, who had been found from Danfeng, into the air. Then imitate the movements of the old man in the fragments, change fingers, crush and refine the spiritual plant with spiritual consciousness, and finally achieve the exact point, blending and hitting the alchemy seal. The 9 Dan seals circled around. Yi Qiao collected her spiritual consciousness, fused and shaped it, and she thought for a moment in the final step of mixing the fragrance. I chose my favorite snail powder flavor. However, after opening the pot, it was originally supposed to be 9 elixirs, but now it has become a lump of big elixirs. She looked thoughtfully at the disfigured pill in the cauldron, and was a little worried about whether it could be sold for its appearance. Yi Qiao had seen the pills made by the 3rd senior brother. Each of them was round and jade-like, white and plump. Myself this. No matter how you look at it, it is too nutritious. Is it because it was practiced in a big pot, so it just grows casually? Hey, you can't compare yourself too much. Yi Qiao said to herself, and she could only comfort herself in this way. At least this is edible. Right. She used to be a kitchen killer in modern times, but now she can practice successfully in one go. Yi Qiao couldn't help but praise herself. She is simply a genius. The elixir refined by Yi Qiao was learned from the patriarch of Chang Mingzong in the remnant scroll. It seems to be called Quenling pill. It is said that it can temper aura. It should be known that the purer aura is, the better it is for broken mirror. If you want to keep your aura, absolute purity can only be cultivated and refined over and over again. This kind of elixir can save a lot of time, and you don't need to spend a lot of effort to refine the aura. It is simply the gospel of bad players. Yi Qiao couldn't wait to rush out to find someone to try. The first person she set her sights on was Zhu Yu. Among the 4 senior brothers, senior brother Zhu Yu had the best temper. After Yi Qiao heard that he was making alchemy in the alchemy class, she couldn't wait to find him. At this point in time, Zhu Yu is teaching several brothers and sisters in the inner sect how to make alchemy better and avoid the possibility of failure. He said, the most important thing to maintain when refining alchemy is to be calm. There will be people maliciously interfering in the game and making mentality. What we should do at this time is to ignore them. Just like me, Zhu Yu said to demonstrate to them. The whole movement was smooth and orderly. Several senior brothers and sisters held their chins in admiration. 3rd senior brother is so amazing. As expected of a personal transmission. When Yi Qiao rushed in, Zhu Yu was concocting alchemy. She smiled cutely at her senior brother. Senior brother, I brought you something good. She stretched out her hand and took out the elixir she had refined from the mustard bag. The strong smell of snail noodles spread rapidly. Zhu Yu's alchemy hand paused slightly, ignored her, and continued to concentrate on it. Seeing this, Yi Qiao didn't bother him. Holding her big elixir, she watched him practice it boredly. He found that Zhu Yu's method was different from his own. And there are only 3 Dan Yin printed. Yi Qiao hadn't wondered why the number of pill seals of the 2 were different. but the next second she heard the sound of vomiting. Ugh! Zhu Yu covered his mouth, unable to maintain his calm appearance anymore. He opened his mouth tremblingly. Little master. Yue. Take your elixir farther away. He would not easily describe the panacea as a lump, unless it was really similar. As soon as the words fell, the pill furnace boiled, and the next second there was a boom, and the furnace exploded gorgeously. Zhu Yu had practiced alchemy for so many years, and it was the first time that he was smoked into the furnace. He slowly exhaled a puff of black smoke. Little junior sister. You are so cruel. Yi Qiao sympathized with his experience for 3 seconds, then lovingly pressed his blown hair, continued to put a large lump of medicine in front of him, and started talking nonsense. Senior brother, you have to try. Do you want to taste it? If it's not bad, I think it should be delicious. Zhu Yu quietly raised a finger to express her praise. Then he continued to spit out black smoke from his mouth. He. I won't eat it. He wept silently. You can eat it, junior sister. Thank you for the invitation. I am in good spirits, but I am in the Changming sect and have been tortured mad by my junior sister. Bold Yi Qiao. Elder Zhao, who hurriedly heard the movement, arrived, smelled the pungent stench. His pupils trembled. He covered his nose, and said loudly, how dare you cook shit in class? He himself doesn't like to see a disciple like Yi Qiao who is not doing business properly. Ha ha ha, now he has finally caught him. Yi Qiao. Elder, you don't need to love, please don't hurt. She silently hugged her elixir, which was the first one she practiced. How could she use such uncivilized words to describe it? Elder Zhao covered his mouth and nose from the smell of snail powder, and said concisely, get out. Before Yi Qiaogan broke apart a big batch of his own panacea, he gave half of it to Zhu Yu. Remember to finish eating, third senior brother, and give me feedback when the time comes. Goodbye. She ran away without looking back. Zhu Yu looked at the elixir in his hand and put on a pain mask. He pinched his nose, bit the bullet and grabbed a small piece, ate it, then turned his head and let out a Yue. Junior brother, come here. Zhu Yu took a deep breath, beckoned to Mu Chongxi who had just stepped into the classroom, and smiled kindly, come on. Junior sister has practiced a few pills, and I will give you some. There is a saying that says that suffering alone is not as good as suffering alone. Mu Chongxi, really? Little junior sister can make alchemy. He thought the other party was joking. Isn't this junior sister a double cultivator of talisman and sword? Can you still practice alchemy? Mu Chongxi didn't think she could make alchemy, but thought she was just joking around, so without any precautions, she took a sip of the elixir Zhu Yu handed over. 1 minute later. He bent down silently. Yue. What a smell. On the other side, Yi Qiao went looking for Mingxuan non-stop. Second senior brother, the community is sending warmth. Mingxuan was studying how to draw the blasting talisman, when suddenly a lump of yellow stuff occupied his sight. He was taken aback. What the hell is this? Yi Qiao. Elixir. Mingxuan heard that it was a elixir, and after smelling it again, his first reaction was, Zhu Yu hates me so much. He developed this kind of biochemical weapon to poison me. Well, he knew that bitch Zhu Yu was uneasy and kind. Yi Qiao was silent for a few seconds. I did it. Mingxuan was embarrassed for a moment, and tried to make up for it. Oh. That's it. Ha ha, I knew that this trash Zhu Yu would not be able to practice such a big pill. This is not only Zhu Yu. No alchemist can practice such great medicine. Is she trying to smash someone to death with this thing? After making it up, Mingxuan had no choice but to bite the bullet and eat under the scorching gaze of his younger junior sister. After a while, the three of them collectively, Yue. Chevron_left